Hey y'all, I am Simone J, the Budget Bestie, and you are watching my Planning and Budgeting Life. In this video, I'm going to be going over what I did or what I spent on my impromptu vacation. So last Sunday, was it Sunday or I think it was like Monday, but out of nowhere, I just kind of decided that I wanted to just take a getaway, do a getaway trip. I work 40 hours a week at my job. I'm a mom of two. I just have a lot going on all at once, and it can become very mentally draining to try to deal with everything and not ever have a break. So I just decided, listen, I have some money saved up. I have a credit card. I'm just gonna go ahead and just take me a little weekend break and just go somewhere. So if you don't know, if I never said it, I live in Jacksonville, Florida, which is not too far away from where I went, which was Daytona Beach, Florida. I really wanted to go to New York. I saw that the flights were pretty reasonable, but I've never been to New York, and I don't know what it would be like to have to get around by myself my first time. I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna take that chance. So I ended up not going. Plus, where I wanted to stay would have been way more than what I wanted to spend. Which is funny because I never actually put a budget together for the trip. I'm just always very conscious of what I'm spending when it comes to certain things. And so as I'm looking at stuff, I'm just kind of determining that, okay, yeah, I don't want to spend that much. That's a whole lot. So I decided to just go to Daytona, spend a weekend in Daytona. And the first thing that I did decide was for as far as the hotel, I was going to put it on my credit card. Side note, I do not recommend people using credit cards if you don't have a savings account. That's just something that I've noticed that can really get you in a whole lot of trouble. I talk about money on this video, on this YouTube channel, and from working in a financial institution, and also just from experiences and seeing other people go through certain things, I just think that you should have a savings account before you go into getting into debt and all these other things. I think it helps out a whole lot. And so because I have a savings, I'm okay. I was okay with putting the money on my credit card. Even though I really don't like to put everything on my credit card, I really like to only use it for gas. But my reasoning behind that was because this was such an unplanned trip. I knew that there was a certain amount that I didn't want to take out of my savings. Instead, I would put it on my credit card and I'm able to pay it off over time. Plus, my credit card has a 0% no interest for the next 18 months. So I have time to pay it off before it starts accruing interest, which I just got the card in January or February. So definitely won't be getting any interest on it. I'm pretty good at paying my credit card off in full every single month. Of course, I'm going to take a few months to pay off this balance. But at least if something were to happen and I needed to pay the credit card off, I have the money to do so. So that was my decision with the hotel, was to just go ahead and put it on my credit card. And the deposit for the hotel came up to $252.12. So the hotel altogether, as I was booking it, said it would be about $548. This was for 2 nights. It was an oceanfront hotel. It was called the Holiday Inn. And so it was an oceanfront, really nice views. It was really nice. That's my first time ever being in a hotel that, you know, overlooked the ocean. And that's something I always wanted to do, as far as getting a hotel that had that type of view. If listen, I'm a girl, I love good views. If you put me in a place where there's a nice view, you got me. And so I was over the moon happy to be able to do that for myself. So that was the hotel that I got. So the deposit was $252.12. And then the next thing I decided to do, so I knew that when I went on this trip, I wanted to do jet skiing. That's something I also have never done, was jet skiing. And so I said to myself, when I go on a trip, I'm going to jet ski. And so I went, I looked up some places, and one of the places I found that was not too far away from the hotel, the rental for the jet ski was $100. I said, okay, you know, I think that's pretty reasonable. So I went ahead and booked that. And I paid for that with my credit card as well. And then I was at work one day, and one of my coworkers, I was talking to her about it, she was saying, why don't you go and look up and see if they have a Groupon? And so I decided to, you know, just kind of go and see if that was, trying to fix this lighting. I don't think it's gonna be perfect, but anyway, I'm trying to go and see if that will be possible. And so I went on Groupon to look for a Groupon, but they didn't have one for jet skiing. And so I saw one for zip lining, and it was a Groupon for two, for a full course for zip lining. And since my sister had decided that she was gonna go with me, basically inviting herself, she decided she was going to go with me. And so I texted her, I said, hey, do you want a zip line? And she said, yes. And so I was like, well, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it, because neither one of us had ever went zip lining before. So I said, this might be fun to go ahead and do this, and I have somebody to do it with me. So I went ahead and I booked the zip line. The Groupon ticket was $87 for two people, which, you know, was a few dollars off. I think without the Groupon would have been like a little over $100 for both of us. So, you know, it saved us a few dollars. So I went ahead and booked that. So that was $87. The jet ski was $100. So that was pretty much all I put on my credit card before the trip actually came. We left Friday night. And then we left Friday night and then got to the hotel that night. We had so much fun. It was a blast. But we left Friday night, got to the hotel, and then Saturday we woke up. I knew that as far as like my itinerary, I didn't want to go anywhere to do breakfast. I was going to do it at the hotel, which they had a full restaurant, full bar. So we ended up ordering breakfast at the hotel. So we got room service, which the breakfast came up to, I don't know the exact change, but I know it was like $35 and some change. And then I also tipped room service $5. So I ended up doing that. So when I booked the hotel, the pictures looked a whole lot nicer than it did when we actually got there. So the hospitality was okay. It was okay, but it definitely wasn't what I was expecting when I got there. But I really can't complain. I thought it was still nice. And then it was like a last minute trip, so I really didn't have time to really plan. And then I also didn't have a whole lot of money to spend, so I would say we got what we paid for. We got what we paid for. So when they brought the room service to us, we were like expecting it to be like on plates and things like that, and they brought it to us in a bag in styrofoam plates. So it wasn't what we were expecting. But I mean, I don't know why we were expecting so much when we only paid $500 for the room. But if I do it again, I definitely want to choose a nicer hotel. But it was okay. It wasn't bad. It was just not as nice as we were expecting. And so that was what I paid for the room service. So that was on Saturday. We kind of got up. I read my Bible that morning. And then we ate breakfast and we sat out on the balcony, just kind of, eating and, looking at the view, watching the sun continue to come up. And then after we left there, we went out on about our excursions. So our first excursion was the zip lining. So we went zip lining. It was definitely not what we expected as well, because I've never been to zip lining. I knew that the thing said like a whole course, but I wasn't expecting like up in the air, walking wires and walking overboard. Like it was an actual like course, like a what do you call those things? I forgot. But it was like one of those game courses that they do on TV or whatever. It was like that, but up in the air. And if you've been ziplining, you probably know what I'm talking about. But I thought that we would just have this long cord that you would just get on and you would just ride it. I didn't know that it was actually going to be like an actual, yeah. We had fun. It was fun. It was a challenge. We had fun. So we went ahead and did that. Then after we left there, we went and walked around in the area a little bit, close to where we were going to go jet skiing. So we had a little bit of time before we went to actually do the jet skis. So we just walked, and then we came upon this chocolate store. I forgot what it was called. We just kind of went in there and kind of looked around at the chocolate store, looked around at all the chocolate they had. It was kind of like a Kilwins in Jacksonville, if you will. I ended up spending $3 in there only because I didn't really want to eat a lot of sugar. But I spent $3 in there. It wasn't... I got Reese's Buttercup, but I guess it was made by them. But it didn't taste like a Reese's Buttercup. It just tastes like chocolate, like peanut butter covered chocolate. Chocolate covered peanut butter. Like there was no carrot. Like it just didn't taste the same. So I didn't really like it. But I spent $3 there. Then after we left there, we stopped by this restaurant. I forgot the name again. We stopped by this restaurant. It was like almost right next to it. Went in there. I wasn't very hungry, so I didn't really eat a whole lot of what I ordered. I think because I had just ate breakfast. But I spent $20 on the lunch. I think the actual lunch was probably like a little over $10, and I just left the rest for a tip. And then while we were out eating, I got a call from the instructor for my jet ski saying that there was this new law that passed that if you were born after 1987 that you had to have a boater's license. And so I ended up having to go ahead and pay for that, which was like $9.99. It was only $9.99. So I paid for the license, took the test, and went ahead and got the boater's license. And then we went to get on our jet skis. So fast forward, that was really fun. For my first time jet skiing, that was probably the most fun thing that I did on the trip. 10 out of 10. I'm definitely doing it again, and I'm definitely going to be booking more than 30 minutes. It was something that I would always, I always remember my first time jet skiing. So the place that we went to jet ski, it had a restaurant also in Daytona Beach called Jack Caribbean. So we had decided that after we jet ski, we're gonna go home, or go to the hotel, go back to the hotel, chill out there for a little bit, take a shower, and then we're gonna come back to that restaurant to have dinner, which we did. And I spent $59, which it makes sense. So what I got was, I got a virgin pina colada, which was like $10. And then my meal was a full rack of ribs. It was sweet and spicy ribs. I wanted to see what it tastes like. I love like anything that's like sweet and spicy or sweet and tangy and stuff. So I really wanted to try the ribs. So I ended up ordering that. The meal was like $25. Then I also had a sweet tea because I knew there wouldn't be any refills on the pina colada. And plus we waited like over 30 minutes for our food. So I'm glad I ordered 2 drinks. So ordered that, and then I also had an appetizer, which was the coconut fried shrimp. So I had that, and then I also, that was it. So that was it. We had that. It was really nice. They had a live band, and then there was also because we had it at the same, because the restaurant was in the same place as the jet skiing, we were able to sit outside and under like this kind of like hut type thing and look out at the views, and there was water and all the boats and everything that were out there. So that was really nice. So the meal came up to about $47 and some change, and I just gave the rest of it as a tip. So that was that. We ended up going to the hotel, chilling out for the rest of the night, going to sleep. The next day, which was Sunday, we got up. We kind of just chilled at the hotel for a little while, and then when it was time to check out, we decided to go and get breakfast somewhere. We went to this place called Adam's Egg, which was right down the street from the hotel, and I spent $20 there, so I think the meal came up to like $12 and some change, and I left the rest for a tip. And then after that, we went and got gas, and then we headed home. So the running total for the trip altogether came up to $906.99, give or take a few dollars or a few cents. That's how much I spent on the hotel. Or that's how much I spent on the trip. So not bad. Didn't go over 1,000. And some of this was spent in cash. So really the only balance I will have on my credit card to pay off will be the zip lining, the jet ski, and the hotel, which is what I plan to put on my credit card. Everything else I wanted to pay for in cash. I didn't want to do the whole thing on my credit card because I didn't want to pay off that much over time. So of course, the zip lining was one thing that definitely was planned out of nowhere. The jet ski I already knew that I wanted to do, and then the zip lining just was kind of like an idea because of the Groupon was for 2. So yeah, $906.99. So to some people it may seem like a lot. Some people it's like, oh, you did good. I think I did okay. I'm not completely hurting for it. I do know that because of this month of April, I definitely have overspent a whole lot. I know that when I close out my budget, it's gonna be a learning experience. But I'm very happy with what I got for this month. I definitely am going to carry some memories with me, and after that break, I think I'm good to go until my next vacation, which will be with my kids. So I'm not worried about how much I spent so much, because I feel like I didn't overdo it. As far as, because I could have spent a whole lot more, but I didn't overdo it. But I got so much out of it. So that's what matters the most, that I got a break and I got some rest and I got a chance to get away, and it was very needed. So yeah, that was nice. Let me know in the comments, communicate with me. Let me know if have you ever done like an impromptu trip? How much did you spend? Did you kind of go overboard? Did you just enjoy yourself? Let me know about your experiences with just needing a break and having to go, and you just go and you just have a good time. But that's the video. That's my experience with it. I think that the money was well spent. I'm just gonna have to kind of sacrifice a little bit until I get this money back into my account and get it paid off, but it was well spent, and I'm excited that I got to experience things I got to experience, and I think it was worth it. So yeah, that's the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.